Hello everyone, it's time for another EU News update. It's a new year, and we already have so much to talk about. First off, the newest Old Republic expansion, Legacy of the Sith, was supposed to come out last month, but unfortunately it was delayed till February 15th. It's unfortunate that we have to wait even longer, but I would much rather have a game be delayed until it's ready to be released, rather than receiving a shoddy unfinished product. I think gamers have been burned so many times regarding that we're a little more understanding when it comes to games being pushed back so they get the proper development time. Speaking of the Old Republic, another game published by Electronic Arts, Apex Legends is offering players a reward in honor of the Old Republic's 10th anniversary. If you log into Apex now through the end of Escape, you'll get a free medallion. Since the Old Republic was released on December 20th, 2011, we just passed the 10-year mark for the MMO. Lead producer Keith Koenig wrote a short article on the Old Republic's main website, basically thanking his team for working so hard, and talks about how they're gonna keep updating the game in the future. It's a nice little write-up, and indeed having an MMO last for over 10 years now is quite an accomplishment. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read it for yourself. And other video game news, in the comments of my last EU update, Kenny MC2 mentioned that Microsoft added a massive amount of older games to the Xbox One and Xbox Series X through backwards compatibility, like Starfighter Special Edition, The Clone Wars, Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, and Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. It's awesome that Xbox owners will get to play these awesome games on their current hardware. And thank you, Kenny, for informing me on this. There is actually even more EU video game news that I've neglected to mention for a long time now. The mobile game Galaxy of Heroes has indeed been adding EU characters to the roster for a long time, such as characters from Knights of the Old Republic. I've generally tended to ignore Galaxy of Heroes because it doesn't really have a story, so adding characters from the EU is nice, but it doesn't really mean anything. However, they have been adding a ton of EU characters recently, like Dash Rendar, Darth Talon, Kyle Katarn, Starkiller, and Mara Jade. Basically a ton of fan favorites. And while I'm probably not going to play this game myself, it admittedly is nice that they are showing the EU some real love lately. It's appreciated. And they're not the only ones showing EU characters some love. On December 24th, the Malak Fan Film by the YouTube channel Unreal Cinema came out, and it's pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in the description. In addition to making an adapted series based on Knights of the Old Republic, they're also going to make fan films about Revan and Mission Vow. Moving on to book news, on January 4th, the Little Golden Book of Story of the Fateful Wookiee was released. Now, a children's book based on the animated segment from the Star Wars Holiday Special is probably going to only appeal to a very specific market. But whether you want to buy it for a kid, or just really want to complete your EU collection, then check it out for yourself. Link in the description. Wave 3 of the Essential Legends collection will come out in April, but Wave 4, which is due to come out on August 2nd, has already been leaked. Books in this line will include Darth Maul Shadowhunter, The Krytos Trap, and Death Troopers. All pretty decent books. I would consider them essential for sure. But this is especially interesting, because typically in each wave so far, we've gotten 3 or 4 books, but only 1 book per wave has also received an unabridged audiobook for the first time. Wave 4 is the first that contains 2 books that don't have an unabridged audiobook, Krytos Trap and Darth Maul Shadowhunter. So are we going to get 1 for Krytos Trap? 1 for Shadowhunter? Both books? Or neither? We will have to wait and see. In international news, Panini Comics has been releasing epic collections across Europe. This information comes from the Star Wars Comic Books Facebook page. Italy is receiving a 344-page Dark Times omnibus, and France is getting the Menace Revealed collection, which includes open seasons. I am still very personally unfamiliar with how Legends is viewed and sold in foreign countries, so seeing news like this with more Legends material coming out worldwide is pretty great. If you happen to be French or Italian, and you have more information on this, please let me know. Also, check out the Star Wars Comic Books Facebook page. They have a lot of information on upcoming Star Wars comics. So as everybody knows, we just had Christmas. And to celebrate, Lucasfilm gave their employees a gift box. On the outside of the gift box were the logos of the various upcoming projects that Lucasfilm will be working on. And people have noticed that one of the logos said Tales of the Jedi. You know, one of the worst things about Disney buying Star Wars is the fact that I can't just be excited about new releases anymore. Because when I see that we're going to get maybe more Tales of the Jedi, one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars media of all time, I can't just think how, man, this is going to be so awesome. I have to worry that they're going to bastardize my favorite Star Wars comic series. So for the sake of my sanity, I'm not going to assume that they're going to continue making this amazing comic series, or do a perfect one-to-one Disney Plus adaptation. I'm going to assume this is some High Republic bullshit, and they are unfortunately using the Tales of the Jedi name to build up hype or something. I'd love nothing more than to be wrong, but yeah. And partially moving away from news about the expanded universe, I had previously discussed the greed from Disney and Lucasfilm when it came to their goddamn $6,000 for 2-night Star Wars hotel. Well, the trailer came out, and was the most cringeworthy thing on the whole internet. So much so, that everyone has basically been roasting it for weeks. Reservations for the hotel were cancelled, and Disney themselves even removed the video due to backlash. It was pretty wonderful. I wouldn't be so delighted by this biting them in the ass if they didn't think they could try to scam people out of that much money. Seriously, they were asking for thousands of dollars, and all the promotional material, you know, the stuff that puts the hotel in the best light, it looks like shit. If at this point you're still thinking of going to this hotel, please just do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and don't. If you really want to throw away $6,000 on Star Wars, all you have to do is buy every Legends book, comic, video game, and action figure. That way you'll at least have years of enjoyment, rather than 2 fucking days. And speaking of greed, overpriced products, and fan backlash, HasLab, Hasbro's crowdfunding division, attempted to fund a Raincore figure, but they were asking for way too much money, and ultimately fans literally voted with their wallets, and chose not to support it. However, they did manage to get 8,500 backers, when all they were asking for was 9,000. So you'd think that since they were that close, they may as well make the thing. But no, they dug in their heels and said they weren't going to make it. And a lot of Star Wars collectors actually seem kind of glad that they failed to make it, in many of the same ways that people were glad to see backlash against the hotel. You can only stretch the goodwill of your consumer base so far before they rightfully turn on you. Let this be a lesson to corporations that think they can walk over their fans and can sell whatever they want at any price just because it has a Star Wars logo on it. Which brings me to Hasbro as a whole. Recently, we've actually been getting a lot of EU representation when it comes to action figures, and I'm pretty grateful about that. However, they could be doing a lot more. I'll let you know what I mean in just a minute, because I wanted to go over this past year. In terms of EU re-releases, honestly 2021 has been a pretty good year for EU fans. Not perfect, mind you, and we still didn't get any new EU stories outside of the Old Republic and another short story tie-in, but we have been getting more EU merchandise in general. We got many EU Black Series figures this year, and I absolutely love that, but we could still be getting more and more variety. What I mean is, a lot of the figures are repaints of other figures. Not the worst thing in the world, and Star Wars does have a lot of characters that wear slightly different armor colors. But the Black Series is still missing several EU characters that just can't be repainted versions of previous figures. That's something I want to see Hasbro improve on in 2022. We had more older Star Wars video games added to modern consoles, both physically and digitally. Video game preservation is highly important to me, and I hope Aspyr Media continues their great work. Speaking of Aspyr, we may have gotten the biggest Star Wars announcement last year with the Knights of the Old Republic remake, proving that even a story from the non-canon expanded universe can be just as popular, if not more, than any upcoming Disney Star Wars projects. We've had more EU content be added on Disney Plus with the Vintage Collection, which shows the greatness of the Legends universe to a whole new generation. We got the Insider Fiction collections, which despite containing both Legends and new canon stories, was still promoted with the Legends banner. In terms of comics, we've gotten more epic collections and the hardcover omnibuses, and so far from what we know in 2022, we're going to get even more. We were supposed to get a new expansion for the Old Republic, but at least we're going to get it released in just a month from now. And of course, we got the Essential Legends collections and new unabridged audiobooks. If these sell well enough, they might even overtake the new canon in bookstores. We'll have to see. At least compared to the last 7 years of being stuck in a complete drought of EU content, 2021 had at least a bit more love for the EU. And I hope this year in 2022 we get even more. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below.